If you're here, you have been noticing how things feel slower for you right now, right? It's like you've been doing the work, you've been showing up every day, you've been praying, you're visualizing now. But for some reason, the breakthrough hasn't arrived yet. And if you're being honest, part of you is wondering, did I miss something? Did God forget about me? Am I on the wrong path? Now, what if I told you that the delay isn't punishment? What if I told you that the delay is actually preparation? You see, one of the greatest misconceptions people have about divine timing is that nothing is happening while they're waiting. But if you read the Bible tells us something very different. Now in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11, it says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Not your time, not my time, it's time. And that's where the deeper mystery is. Because esoterically speaking, time isn't a clock. Time is a process of alignment. You see, a seed doesn't become a tree because it wants to. It becomes a tree when the conditions are right. You see, many people right now are trying to force a harvest in a season that was designed for roots. The collective energy right now is teaching patience, not passive waiting. This is intentional preparation. The kind of patience that builds foundations. The kind of patience that transforms character. The kind of patience that prepares you to hold everything you've been asking for. Because let's be honest, people aren't out here praying for transformation. They pray for outcomes. You see, they want the blessings. But they don't realize that they are becoming the person who is capable of carrying these blessings. That is the hidden initiation that no one talks about. And if you look at ancient mystery schools, initiates were never given power immediately. They were tested, refined, purified. Not because the universe wanted to punish them, but because power without wisdom creates destruction. And spiritually speaking, that same principle does apply today. You see, some of you have been asking yourself, well, why doors keep closing? Okay, or why some relationships ended? Why did plans have to change? Why opportunities disappeared? Those closed doors weren't rejection. They were redirection. You see, God has to remove what no longer matches the version of you that you are becoming. Isaiah 55:8 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." Meaning that from the human perspective, yeah, it can look like a loss. But if you look at it from the divine perspective, it's protection. And yes, it's difficult to accept that when you're standing in doubt, because doubt activates fear. And now fear wants proof. Fear wants guarantees. Fear wants immediate results. But that is not how faith operates. Faith operates differently. Faith moves before evidence appears. Faith walks before the path becomes visible. Faith trusts that what's being built beneath the surface matters just as much as what eventually emerges from it. Now think about that. A tree spends years establishing roots before anyone admires its branches. And nobody celebrated the roots. Nobody applauds the preparation. Nobody posts the unseen growth. Yet, without the roots, the tree collapses. You right now, you are in a root building season. You may not see progress. You may not see movement. You may not see evidence. But that doesn't mean growth isn't happening. The caterpillar disappears before becoming the butterfly. The seed breaks before becoming the flower. The initiate enters darkness before finding illumination. This is exactly where you are. Not abandoned, not forgotten, not failing. Transforming. Every spiritual awakening follows this same pattern. First comes the breakdown, then comes the revelation, then comes the rebirth. Your old self must dissolve before the higher self can emerge. And that process is rarely comfortable. But you need to remember that discomfort is evidence of expansion. You are stretching beyond your old limitations, right? Beyond your old range of self, beyond your old fears, beyond your old identities, beyond old versions of yourself. You see, you cannot enter a new chapter while clinging to an old story. Something has to be released. Something has to end. Something has to be surrendered. Not because you're losing, but because you're evolving. So your message right now is simple. Stop measuring your life by visible results. Measure it by inner transformation. Because success isn't just receiving everything you've asked for. Success is actually becoming who you were always meant to be. So if you're feeling tired, keep going. If you're feeling doubt, keep trusting. If you're feeling invisible, keep believing. Because what feels like a delay is actually divine construction happening behind the scenes. Your foundation is being laid. The roots are growing deeper. The alignment is unfolding beautifully. And when the time is right, the thing that you've been waiting for won't be forced. It will arrive naturally. Because what is truly meant for you doesn't require desperation. It requires readiness. So today, take a deep breath. Release the timeline. Release the fear. Release the need to control every single outcome. And remember this. The same God who planted the vision within you already knows how to bring it to completion. Your job is simple. Do not force the harvest. Your job is to just keep tending the garden. The harvest comes in its season. And your season is much closer than you think. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. This is Psalm 37:7. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is.